fingers down my spine. Girl, you look mighty fine. Won't you rub your fingers down my spine? Girl, you look mighty fine. Won't you rub your fingers down my spine? Girl, you look mighty fine. Won't you rub your...
And Eren is next. Eren has been here, I think, more than 10 years.
Sorry?
10 years?
No, 7 years.
7 years. Alright. Eren is founder of Udemy, and Udemy has, I think, raised $65 million in the last round. And it is probably one of the best examples that we have moved from Turkey to probably to San Francisco. And Eren, please come on stage and share with your all experience.
Hey guys, my name is Eren. I'm founder of a company called Udemy, and I was a CEO until like 1 year ago. So now I'm enjoying my life again, but by not being a CEO. So we started in 2007 in Turkey. We tried to build a marketplace for online courses, but it was kind of the wrong time, wrong place, and the wrong product. And our every idea we had about the business sucked back then. So we had to stop the company there, shut it down. And then I had to kind of come to US. There were some other motivators like the army mandatory military service in Turkey. But so we came here, and a few years after we came here, I knew that I wanted to try Udemy again, right? So the first trial had failed, but I wasn't sure that it was a completely failed idea. I think the idea that anybody in the world would be teaching one day, should be able to teach one day, was a pretty straightforward idea. And I thought it didn't exist because nobody had done it, right? Or nobody had done it successfully. So we came here, we decided to give it another shot. So we changed the product completely from live teaching marketplace to on-demand teaching. So we had a business co-founder, but this time we were in the Silicon Valley, so there were I think we had better advice from our surroundings, so there were some advantages here. Eventually we launched Udemy, after a long kind of period, we were able to raise the first $1 million. And once we got that, we were able to go full-time on Udemy. So until then, we had to work part-time on Udemy because of the visa restrictions. Actually, sorry, I'm fixing it for legal purposes. We didn't work on Udemy until then, so because of the visa restrictions. And then we started working after we raised money. So, and since then, it's been going well. So we raised around $1 million in the first year, $3 million second year, $12 million third year, $32 million in the fourth year, and just recently we closed another $65 million, which makes the total sum we raised to something around $130 million. And more importantly, we have 30,000 instructors who are teaching on the platform and making money every month. And there are actually more instructors who are teaching free courses. And we have 8 million students who take these courses. A lot of them actually take the courses to change their careers. Sometimes they're unemployed and they find their first jobs through a course they took on Udemy. Sometimes they don't like their jobs, they're underemployed, and they change their career for them. So I think there's a lot of things to look back and be proud of right now. And there's also a lot more to be done in the future. But something I really specifically feel proud of is that we created a job. The teaching online and making a living from that didn't really exist before. I mean, maybe it was an exception. Now 30,000 people doing it satisfies as a job description, right? So there's a new job called online instructor. So things are going well in Udemy, and I think I gave this might be my fifth Etohum talk. Sometime last week I was actually just curious. I just watched my old talks. I remember the first talk I gave was right after we raised the first $1 million. I was back in Turkey, in Istanbul. I gave the talk, and for a reason the approach to Udemy was Udemy was already massive success by raising a seed round, right? So and then every year things change, things evolved a little bit. So when I look at my old talk, and I realized most of the advice I gave them that were my own advice, they're still true. I still agree, seeing a lot more than I used to know before. And then they also gave a bunch of kind of templated startup advice. You can just ignore those. So now I realize they weren't that true. And this is a trick that all the people who talk about startups do. We watch other startup talks, we take notes from other people, and we just sell it our own ideas. So So I had a bunch of those, like, which now I realize, okay, you know, this is kind of bullshit. And what you will realize is, like, most startup advice you hear, especially in, like, talks like this, is going to be, like, either, like just straight up incorrect or kind of slightly confusing. Because, like, when we talk, like, in a situation like this here, we optimize for the ideas that sound cool, right? So you don't optimize for, like, the best advice, the best advice you can give. Because really, like, at the end of the day, the advice doesn't really matter. It, like, won't change your lives. Maybe you'll get more motivated or less, but, like, this is not, like, a big difference. And then I was, like, watching kind of some of the questions. Like, one of the questions was, why isn't there $1 billion Turkish technology company? Like, somebody asked this, and I said, like, because nobody hasn't started yet, right? And the same answer I give to, like, pretty much every question about Turkey, like, why isn't there X? Because nobody has done X. Like, I'm sure, like, before Tesla started, people were saying, like, you cannot start a car company in the US. Nobody has started a car company, like, in the last 70 years. So then there's the kind of the standard expectations that you cannot start another successful car company anymore. But, like, Tesla started until, like, Elon Musk started Tesla. So a lot of the things that hasn't been done or is not being done today, like, is not done because nobody has done it. So, and a lot of other questions about that was asked about Turkey, like, why isn't there enough funding? Like, because nobody's investing. 5 years has passed. A lot of these problems actually have been solved right now. Turkey has a big decent-sized startup ecosystem. I kind of know it because when I talk to other people in the Middle East, they complain about their country's ecosystem, just like we complained 5 years ago. And then they all say, like, they are planning to move to Istanbul to start their companies, which is, like, a good sign that, like something is, like, starting. So, and the other thing, like, I was realizing is that, like, there's so much of a complaining of, like, why this is not like that, why it was so hard for us to raise money, why can't we find engineers, and like, we complained about, like, I was trying to think, okay, like, we started a company in Turkey, failed miserably, so but we actually didn't complain, right? Like, I don't remember myself, like, saying, like, why is this that way, why is that way? I think the problem is, so when you work hard for your startup, and sometimes, like, even when you don't work hard, right? Like, you feel like you're this righteous owner of this massive success, right? Like, you're entitled to start $1 billion company. And, like, if it's not happening because, like, the world is not being unfair to you, like, this is, I mean, if you kind of, like, just hear this, you realize how ridiculous it is, right? Like, because, like, nobody, like, deserves, like, starting $1 billion company. Like, we just want it, right? Like, it's not, you don't deserve it. Like, we just want it, and we would, like, do things to make that possible. And nobody's responsible to like, create that opportunity for you. You, like, take the opportunity. So one framework I developed over time is that, like, I stopped thinking that we are working so hard, we are, like, building something for education, so we are doing the right thing, that everybody in the world is entitled, like, has to help us, right? Like, I kind of stopped thinking about that. And I started now thinking about, okay, like, let me just, like, let me forget that we are building an education startup and doing something good for the world, right? Like, let's just shut up about that nonsense, right? Let's assume we're just gangsters. Like, I want to build a $1 billion company which sells drugs and, like, poisons, like, teenagers, right? Okay, let's, like, switch the context and do something really, like, inherently bad for the world. Obviously, nobody in the world has to help me. So, well, like, how will I approach this? So if I want to start a, like drug, like mafia, like organization in Turkey, will I, like, complain that people don't have me? No, I wouldn't. Like, I would just, like, figure out, okay, like, what can I do here? Like, if there are not enough people who are using drugs in Turkey, right? That's a problem about the market. Like, let me just, like, I have to teach people how to use drugs, right? And I have to kind of, like, maybe get to schools and, like, keep them in the corner, give them a little bit drugs so they come back again. So, like, all these things you do, like, you kind of, like, you know that you are doing, like, what you're doing is you are fighting with the world to achieve what you want, right? You are not, like, you're not just waiting for everyone to help you. Like, you do what you can, right? And you look at your environment, like, what kind of advantages do I have? Like, maybe, like, my cousin is living in Colombia, and I can bring kind of pure cocaine from that. So, and I can sell it in Turkey. I can use it as my advantage. If my father is rich, probably things are going to be easier for me, right? If I grew up in the worst part of the country, that's probably a good thing. I know some gangsters who can help me. So these are all your advantages, like, and you can just abuse some of the advantages for your success. So this is my new framework. Right? Like just forget about like what you are doing and then like just don't expect anything. Like you have to just acquire what you want, like the hard way. And I look at like obviously I gave so many more talks. This is primarily because like I think like Burak cared about what we did in our previous company. It was called Low Band in Turkey, the miserable fail. So he actually cared about like what we do like, back then. And when we first raised money, I remember like he had kind of like sent an email, like just he mentioned that he was really happy. And I've been talking all at home conferences because of that moment, really. So and since then, like when he calls, like I come here and talk. And then like you can actually refer back to my old talks probably for like more direct advice. There was more advice, less just vague ideas back then. And over time, I'm realizing, as I said, like it's just about like, are you enjoying what you are doing? Like, do you really like what you do? So I was calling my mom like a few days ago. So she was a teacher for almost 30 years, and like then after she retired, they started farming bees, right? And that has been like 7 years. And then I realized like I've been a founder for 5 years. Like my mom, who is a retiree, has like grown bees for longer than I did startups, right? Like, and I'm already being like invited to talk about startups. So she's not being invited to talk about bees anywhere. So, and you realize that those people actually, like she liked her job as a teacher. Like she would like genuinely care about it, right? Like, you know, like on the weekends she would sometimes talk about her students. And being a teacher is a really hard job. She's done it for 30 years. Like my mind cannot imagine why she wasn't bored of it after 2 years of doing it, like all of us doing, right? Like we do something like 4 years. I've been doing education for 5 years. I feel kind of tired about it. So I like it feels boring right now. And like how come she did it like for 30 years? And she just genuinely cared about her students, right? They grew up, they go to good places, they enter top colleges. Like every time like she like sees that, she finds her motivation to do what she does. And like if you cannot find that in what you do, like that's a problem, right? So last year I stepped down from the CEO position. In reality, like the board asked me to step down, like they wanted to like put another CEO that day. It's kind of closer to him, but whatever. Like I was going to be chief product officer in the company, but I decided to like take a year instead, like just like enjoy my life, and I started in the company. So I'm starting this new like health company, and like I really like what we do. And when I talk to people, like I find it interesting that they also like enjoy what I'm planning to do. And like for the last 2-3 months, like I started from like square one, right? Like I'm back to like writing code. I had to learn a bunch of things. So because I hadn't been coding for 3-4 years, I had to do like a bunch of catch up. And now like like sketching products, doing interfaces. Every once in a while we talk to like doctors, and I talk to them, and I get their advice. So right now, still most people know me as the founder of Udemy, is like a decent size success. But on the other hand, I'm also like doing like what probably most of you guys have been doing, like choosing a framework, writing code, building products. And like last year, like when I took this like long kind of vacation, I was afraid that I would never be able to go back to work, because it's kind of like fun to like not work and like enjoy it. It's just like, and like you always are considered somewhat successful, so you don't really like feel like a loser, right? Because like I'm considered successful already. I can just be in Udemy like a few hours every week and like give talks, join conferences, and well, there were like some fun parts of it. But eventually, like I decided to like start this new company, get back to work, get my ass back to work, and like these days, I'm enjoying what I do so much. Like I came here like yesterday. I was considering to ditch the conference, ditch this talk. I was like, right, is it okay if I don't make? Like, can you guys find a replacement? I was almost gonna say that, which I didn't. So, and like part of me like wants to get back to office and like continue what I was doing, because I just solved like a product problem I was thinking about for a little while. Like now, like I really want to go back to office and like finish that. So if you don't have that, like that's a problem, right? So in a daily basis, sometimes we all get stuck. Like it's never like it's not all rosy and stuff, but like you get demotivated, you get stuck somewhere, and then you look at what you're doing. You say, you know what, this is interesting. Like this is important. We should continue doing it when you get bored. But otherwise, in a like standard day, you should be like excited to go back to your desk and actually continue where you were left off. Like if that's not happening, like if you like the part of being a founder where you actually give talks all the time, like you should probably just like give talks all the time, right? Like you shouldn't start another company. So I think this is, I was like suggest the same thing. Like if you guys don't like, genuinely enjoy what you do in a daily basis as the co-founder of a company that no one knows about, but if you don't enjoy that part, you won't enjoy the like next parts either, and most likely actually you'll never be like in the position that you dream of, right? So that's the first thing, and the second thing is you also have to like genuinely care about like people around you and what you've done, because you might like fake caring about what you do like a little bit, and kind of smarter people will catch that immediately. But like if you don't genuinely care about it, like it just will come out, right? Like the employee you try to hire will realize that, the investor you are trying to pitch is going to realize that, and your customer actually will realize that like you don't really care, right? So, and the same thing is like when you run a company and like, you have a lot more employees, it's the same thing. Like, if you don't really care about your employees, they know it, right? Like you just can't fake it. Like no amount of corporate benefits and like company events and parties can replace really caring about what they've done. And I think that's the only way like to lead people, right? Like if you want to become a leader, you care about people, you care about what your organization does, and then you care about people inside that. That doesn't mean you won't fire anybody, you won't be in bad terms with anybody, but like you do care about people you remain. So I think if you can also do that, there's a chance that you create something interesting. So this is it. So I want to open for questions.
So how did you feel when you step down from the CEO?
So this is a good question, because like I've done a lot of different things in a short amount of time, right? So, and usually people hide this, which I decided not to do. Kind of like being in the open is kind of like a nicer feeling. So at the end of the day, I think it was a wrong decision by the investors, but it was the wrong decision to make. Right? And the moment I felt I felt okay about it is I realized, you know what, I fired a lot of people, like several people. And when I fired them, it was my decision to make. And I might have been wrong about some of them. Like maybe some of the people actually could do an amazing job. Maybe it was the company's fault that they didn't perform. But it was my mistake to make, my like bad decision, wrong decision to make. So in the case of the like a board and investors, like really the only like responsibility of the investors is firing the CEO in the right time. So like I mean they didn't fire me honestly, like they wanted me to become a chief product officer, which is like actually very different than being fired. But like even if they fired me, like it was their decision to make, like good or bad. Like I kind of had like if other people respected my decision when I fired them, then I should kind of respect it, right? So I can disagree, but I have to respect them. And also then I was thinking, you know what, like I kind of want to start more companies, so this could also become an amazing opportunity for me. So I'm really happy about it right now.
I mean, you have a story before you started Udemy. You have already told many times that story. Do you have a story which is painful that you are going to solve in the next your startup?
Yeah,
the health company.
So we tell the story. It's usually my personal story in terms of Udemy. And to me, it's like that's not how I look at companies. Like the story usually come up with like actually we like optimize the story after we start the company. So most people like do that. If the story sounds really cool, it probably is like produced after starting the company. So I'm a more hypothesis-driven entrepreneur, meaning that I usually have some opinions about how the world should be or how it will be in the future. And I have several of those hypotheses. I have hypotheses about pretty much everything, right? So, and then sometimes I realize, okay, like in the future, like healthcare should be this way, right? And it's not there yet. So how will the world of healthcare achieve where I want it to be? And I kind of think about it, and I realize, okay, you know what, like this piece is missing, right? Like I have to, like somebody has to build this. And I also think eventually somebody will build this. Right? When I was doing Udemy, I was pretty sure like even if it didn't become successful, somebody else was gonna build Udemy. And once I got into it, I realized maybe almost like 30 companies that are already trying to build Udemy. Like it was just that most of them weren't doing it successful, so nobody knew about it. And most likely, like if you have an idea, probably like 100 people have the same idea there. Some of them might have already built it, but they're not very successful, so you don't know about it. But that's most likely the situation. So what we need to get in, I had a different approach than what everybody else is doing. And I think it should be done, it should be there. And I think I can realistically achieve it. So it's pretty ambitious idea, but it's also like realistic. Like I think I have a tiny chance to make it work. But if the tiny chance like works out, it will be like a massive company. I'm guessing it will be one of the more like top 2-3 most important technology companies in the world right now.
I have questions. Any questions? Yes. All right, let me start.
Udemy today is obviously a very successful company, but during the beginning stages, so when you were first developing, was there ever a period that was dark and you actually really, truly, seriously considered dropping it? But what pushed you and what motivated you to turn around and continue?
Yeah, so there were, and I actually dropped it a few times and then we picked it back up. So when we first came to the US, and like first we kind of tried to get up on our feet. Like migrating to the US is actually not an easy task. It's pretty hard, like especially because of like strict visa regulations here. And at one point I decided to give it another try. And then we built the product as an on-demand product, and we launched it. Like we kind of had something which is working. And then I was in a founder institute, and I actually remember like Özlem from the same group. So we went to founder institute, like a few people liked what they see, and then we tried to raise money for it. And then we talked to some really smart investors, and all of them said no. And they had like pretty good reasons about why it wouldn't work, right? So, and the same like 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I think we got maybe like 30, 40 no's from investors. Like every time you hear the no, right? Like it's not like you know that what you're doing is definitely right and you just keep going. It's more like each time you hear the no, you think, okay, like can he be right? Like you know what, he can be right. Like, and then you do it again. So, and then when we raised our first money, like I think the first investor was Kitche Boa. He put $50,000 in the company, and if he hadn't put that money, I think we had like 2 more weeks left to give up on the idea. So like he literally we were just kind of saying, okay, you know what, like, Gagan, you can find a new job. Like I had this friend we were actually already thinking about our backup plans. I was gonna go back to my full-time work, and like we were very close to giving up. But like until then we just still pushed hard, and finally we got the first like investment, because we were also like burning money. So we didn't actually have any money, so we were in like a lot of debt. And then even after we started the company, there were like times where we thought Udemy, like what we do with Udemy is not working. So for a long time, we didn't really get any real users. Like we were faking we were creating fake accounts, but like people weren't really teaching on Udemy the way we thought they would. So there were a lot of dark periods where we kind of started to say, like we questioned the validity of the idea. But the company kept growing, right? Every month we grew by roughly 20-25% for 5 years. Right? And like every single month, I promise you, like in the beginning of the month, like the revenue starts slow, and we say, you know what, like this is the month we will start growing. Like every month we think that, and every month we kind of find something and we just keep growing. And when investors ask about us, we always say, you know what, our business model is so good that even though we don't do anything, it keeps growing. It's just a huge life. Every month we find something new and make it like just go to the next step.
What were the most common objections from the VCs?
So there were like several. Like first of all, a lot of investors had sunk a lot of money on education in early 2000s, and there hadn't been really any success from those education investments. So they considered education as just like bad investment in 2009-2010 period. And the second big problem was that I believe that in education, learning and stealing should have been separated. Meaning that there should be like web companies which teach you stuff, or you go there to learn something. And I thought like things like certifications, diplomas should actually be completely separated from it in the online learning space. There should be other companies maybe doing like assessments and skill validation and certification. And pretty much all the investors we were talking to were saying, okay, like, are you going to have a diploma? Are you going to have certifications? And I was saying, no, we won't, right? And we shouldn't do it. And this was very controversial. So, like, and pretty much all the investors were saying, like you can't make money on education without certification.
Well, now don't you have certificate, electronic certificates?
We don't really have it, right? We have something called course completion certificate that we launched 1 year ago just because too many people asked for it. And I realized there was a bug, so it wasn't working and nobody really cared about it. So it means like we don't really have it. Like we don't care about like you finishing Udemy courses and like taking that certificate and going to an employee and trying to get a job. That's not what we do. We just want to create learning opportunities for millions of people in the world. Not like we don't try to like get jobs to like 2,000 people.
Do you still own a part of Udemy, or was it completely?
Of course, yeah. I'm still the executive chairman. I'm in the board, and I'm still heavily involved in product strategy. It's just that like talking about product strategy doesn't take a lot of time.
So it wasn't like Steve Jobs leaving your company?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't bad. Honestly, like my situation was kind of probably like, I mean, the only option was I was a CEO, but I was spending 99% of my time on product. And they said, like, you know what, you should be a chief product officer, and we should have another CEO to kind of go talk to potential acquirers and go to investment banking conferences, stuff that I didn't like. They just asked me to kind of. Yeah. So hiring engineers is extremely hard in Silicon Valley. So in Udemy, one thing that made us successful was that we hired good engineers from Turkey, like really early engineers. And it was a huge competitive advantage for us. Like I thought investors would dislike the fact that we have so many Turkish engineers. It was completely opposite. They thought it was a huge competitive advantage. So we doubled down, tripled down on it, and hired more and more engineers from Turkey. And then eventually we decided to diversify. But there are good, smart engineers in Turkey. So what you won't be able to find is like engineers experience in the field you are looking for. You may not be able to find that a lot, but you will be able to find a lot of super smart junior engineers. And honestly, the intelligence level we can hire from Turkey is probably higher than Silicon Valley because it's extremely competitive here. Like, if you just need engineers, like you end up having to kind of lower your barriers for hiring here. Yeah, unless you're like the top company. Like if you're the company of the year, then you can hire very good engineers here. Right? Like if you're Uber right now, okay, fine, right? Like if you're just the one, two companies which are super attractive, like sometimes they can attract smart engineers here, but otherwise it can be really, really hard here. So you have to look outside the valley for engineering hiring.
Eren, thank you very much. Great place.